It's, again, two people with a similar question. Shrikar Vekula from Washington, D.C. says, during meditation and in daily life, I experience brief moments of oneness where the mind becomes completely silent and the absolute truth of Brahman is clearly and directly experienced. In that state, which is completely inexpressible in words, everything seems perfect and nothing more is needed. However, these moments remain brief despite my spiritual practices. What can I do to stay in this state and prevent my mind from falling back to matters of the world? And again, a similar question from Jana Matova from the Czech Republic. For many years now, I have felt a tiny but everlasting happiness somewhere in my chest, something which is still the same, unchanging, and keeps me feeling fulfilled. I believe that self-realization is for me the only possible and acceptable goal of this life. In that pursuit, I am a bit confused if I am to follow some of the 4 yogas. I'm naturally inclined toward Jnana Yoga and Karma Yoga, which I am doing. A bit of Bhakti Yoga too. But meditation is probably not for me. But I'm still turned within to the feeling of joy. Is there anything for me which can support the realization to happen? Any advice would be highly appreciated.
All right, this is beautiful. Both of them have a similar experience and a similar question. Yes. So by meditation or without meditation, in the second case. So one experiences this moment of absolute quiet, peace, and one feels it's inexpressible in words, but a limitless Brahman that is perfect. It's all right there. The only problem is that I come back again into this world, and those states are very far and few in between. How do I make that permanent? All right. Here's the thing. When you're in that state of there's no world, the body is absolutely still, the mind is turned inwards, the breath is rhythmic or stilled for a brief while, and the mind becomes absolutely still, and you know that you are this background radiance to which all of these were appearing, and this absolute quiet stillness, which is problem-free. Now, ask yourself the question now. Because if it was a really well done stillness, you can't ask any question there. The moment you ask a question, that's mental noise. But ask yourself the question now. That stillness was experienced. It was also an experience. That's why you're talking about it now. It was a wonderful experience. What experienced that stillness? One question. Then note, that which experienced that stillness is also, is it not, is also the experiencer of this not stillness when all of this is going on. And you ask, where did that go? Oh, that wonderful stillness and peace. Now there's no peace. How will I go back there? The one which is experiencing this, is it not the same one which was experiencing that stillness? Do you see what I'm saying? And that one which experienced that stillness, which illumined that stillness, which irradiated that clear light of the void in the language of the Tibetan Buddhists, that one, which is you, is also exactly the same one right now. It is that one which is shining through the ears and eyes and nose and tongue and skin. It is that one which is shining through the mind and memory and intellect. It's that one which is illumining pain and pleasure and expectation and anxiety and all of that. Isn't it the same consciousness? Isn't it the same being, same existence awareness, isness awareness? It's the same one. And it was free of problems at that time. It's also free of problems right now. What happened to it now? Nothing happened except this display is appearing. It becomes problematic when that one becomes identified with part of the display. Part of the display is this body. Part of the display are these thoughts. And I say, I am this. You're done for. Without being identified in knowledge, without being identified in your understanding, you can still, drive a car without thinking you are a car. You can still navigate life as this limitless peace and joy and illumination, luminosity. What I'm saying is, Advaita Vedanta is not meant for erasing the world experience. It's meant for extending the peace of Nirvikalpa Samadhi into the world experience. Take this away from this discussion. What is there in deep sleep, in our deep sleep, whatever we experience? Think about deep sleep, how there was really nothing there at all. And take this away. Right now, in the midst of Manhattan, in all of this busyness, in the midst of all of this, is exactly nothing at all. Whatever there was in deep sleep, there is now. Whatever there was not in deep sleep, you say, but there's nothing in deep sleep. Exactly, there's nothing now. What does this do? It sets you free. Now, in the midst of what Advaita Vedanta says, in the midst of the world appearance also, it makes you abadhita. They are very difficult to translate that term. Literally, it means without barriers, without limitations, it makes you infinite in the midst of this world. We get into trouble because we identify ourselves with a slice of this display and then interact with the rest of the display. I am this one, and the rest are not me. There are some friends, there are some enemies, there are some people I'm indifferent to, there are goals to be achieved, things to be avoided, and struggle through life as this little body lasts. This is what we think. Ashtavakra says, either all of it is me, because all of it, this world, this body, this mind, is all presented to me, the consciousness, at once. Either it is all me, it is all I, or none of it is. How do we dream, actually, in our dreams? We fall asleep, we forget that you're sleeping safely on the bed, then we are inserted into a world. There are things happening in the world, pleasant or unpleasant, and we are also present in that world. And because we have identified ourselves with the dream character, then all the dream things, if you took a dreamer's perspective of the whole world, you would be safe from the dream. But you are not taking the dreamer's perspective. You're taking the perspective of I in the dream, not knowing it's a dream. Even if you're in I in the dream, knowing it's a dream, still you would be safe. But we don't know it's a dream. And that's why we take everything so seriously there. Here also. All right. So in deep meditation, take that into practice. See, this is the core of advanced spiritual practice, whether meditation or karma yoga or bhakti and jnana yoga. This is a principle of advanced practice. When you're doing the practice, at one point you must dissolve the barrier between practice and life. Dissolve the barrier between practice and life. What is clear in practice, in meditation, in Vedanta and all of that, should be, as we open our eyes, as we walk out of this place, it should be clear and boundaryless. It's there, that's life now. Then it's done. Then according to Swami Brahmananda, then your spiritual life begins. Before that, you're trying. We're trying. He says, spiritual life begins after Nirvikalpa Samadhi, he said. So that's a very high note to end on. Practical advice, as he said. Any advice would be welcome. This is the core. I have talked about it as best as I can indicate it. However, as he said, karma, bhakti, meditation, whether you can do it well, whether we cannot do it well, whether it feels mechanical, I am not getting it, it's good to practice. Again, a Lama very nicely, it's something he didn't tell me, I read it in a book. There were multiple warnings after the teaching of the highest non-dual teachings in Tibetan Buddhism, Dzogchen, like Advaita Vedanta. The warnings are, yes, you and your Guru are one. Never forget to show respect to your Guru. Yes, it is the same thing with eyes closed and with eyes open. Never neglect your meditation. Yes, it's the same thing in the city and in the forest. But whenever you get a chance to go into a retreat, never miss a retreat. Like this, multiple warnings. It is the same, no doubt about it. But for that purpose, don't make the terrible mistake of giving up spiritual practices and telling the guru that, yeah, okay, old guy, I know what you are and I am, we are the same, I know that now. God save you then. Yeah. Those are also traps of the mind. All right.